But what's life look like for you? What have been some of the things that you've overcome and you deal with now and you take on? I mean, I see those things. I know these things. That's why I asked you to come share with these guys. So, what do you want to share?
I'll go first.
Go, and you guys can shuffle in and out. You don't have to go one at a time. Like shuffle. This is your show. You four, let us know. You're the panel. Talk to us.
Okay. Well, Brandon, I think I started working with you in December. I came to a call or a training that you did. There were 2 leaders in my organization that I trust, and I had heard that they were working with you, and I came out of curiosity. Okay. I just wanted to see what you were all about, because this is not my first rodeo. I've been in this personal development, or I call it self-discovery work, for 30 years. Okay. And I know we've worked with some of the same people. I've broken many a board, Brandon. And okay. So, and every single program that I've done, my awareness has expanded. That's the first law of learning. And then repetition, because you have to hear it over and over and over again, and you hear it from different people. And so there's always been that progression of overcoming limiting beliefs and fostering empowering beliefs, and, living into my potential. But then I started working one-on-one with you, and I started to think about what Carl Jung said. Carl Jung said, where your fear is, there is your task. And you have this gift where you enable people to unpackage that shadow side like nobody I have ever worked with. And I think, that I'm like a magician. I can hide. You're just really good at, Terry, put the mask down. And, I have learned to be able to speak about my shadow side and recognize her and, come to terms and love her. She's no longer a driving force for me to move backwards in life, but I've come to recognize the power that she's had to enable me to achieve the success that I have achieved. So, and you do that, Brandon, in a non-judgmental area, and you make us all feel so safe. So for me personally, it's being able to go down even deeper and, take a deeper look at who I am and how I respond and see the world, which is making me a better mother, a better grandmother, a better team leader. I interact with my leaders so much better. I am less judgmental with them. It's freeing, it's peace, and it's joy.
Thank you, Terry, for sharing that. This is Candace. I would just share, I have a term that came to me some years ago of a wasted day. And unlike, I think, our sort of most of our culture, to me, a wasted day is not lost or low productivity. It's you were alive, you or me. We did not see the beauty. We did not have the gratitude. We did not enjoy. We were not present. And I feel like this work you're doing with us, Brandon, is helping us to not have what I would call wasted days. And to put it in a positive way, it sounds so, we hear it all the time, being present, but it really is important to, I'll just give an example. I know people who are aggravated much of the time, and they do have running water, and what the water coming out is relatively clean, and it's always there, at least so far. And they're mad all day. And it's like, that's sad. They're not grateful for the water. They're not grateful for a roof that's not leaking. They're not grateful for maybe a basement where I live in Tornado Alley. And I just wish that it could be, because the world would be a more peaceful place. Honestly, that all this rage that so many are having, and I've had myself, is just taken away from the point of what are we here for. So I just feel very thankful to have this work and to be able to become in a peaceful place frequently, reminding and verbiage. I love the verbiage I've been learning. Some of the verbiage, I noticed that, right? I'm thinking it means, is that accurate? I mean, that is magical at opening up authentic conversations. And the main focus I have right now, I had shared Gary a few minutes ago, is really with my daughters-in-law and my sons, they're grown-ups, so that, and two of them are at great distance, one about 1,800 miles and the other is 3,600 miles from me, to just have more closeness that I desire and have it be on terms that they love also. And so being more authentic and a better communicator, listener, and not so afraid of tiptoeing. I want them to like me, so say things that maybe need to be said, and finding the ways to say those and share and see if they're listening. So that's what I will share. Thank you for this work.
I noticed that you're able to get into more conflict in a healthy way, right, Candace? You have some of that healthy conflict with your children, with your adult children, that I know is so challenging to have, because it can just be conflict and then you can push them away. And you're adapting a lot more healthy conflict. It's really cool to watch. So I love it. Because you know a lot. You're very knowledgeable, extremely knowledgeable, and you have the answers. But how do you walk that line and still have the relationships be the most important thing? So,
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank y'all for your words. Hi, everyone. I'm Amy, and I wanted to say a big struggle of mine. I started with Brandon in December, January, give or take, and I still struggle with staying in my comfort zone versus my finding my leverage and moving forward and getting into action. And these tools that we learn, I mean, I want all the same things that we all want. We want that future possibility of potential, whatever the options are: financial freedom, time freedom, travel freedom, whatever it is. And, I've come to realize that until I do the inner work, until I master this brain of mine, until I, realize that it's not going to be all, peaches and easy roads and easy walking, that sitting in the discomfort of that struggle and moving through it, it really opens those opportunities for the future, because we're not necessarily promised an easy life, and it's not easy working on yourself. So I would just say that my comfort zone has kept me in those limiting beliefs for a long time, and I don't want to be the same person I am right now in a year. I want to be somebody completely different, and I choose to let the critic have a seat at my table, but it doesn't mean I have to take her advice and follow it. And so, working on me, achieving me so that I can be myself authentically, I get to serve others even better because of that. I get to be aware of their struggles, and I get to listen, and I get to serve in a completely different way than I would have ever done it if I didn't have these tools. These tools are incredible gifts that we get to practice every day and utilize and put into action. And while we're doing that with other people, we get to work on ourselves too. And it's really neat. It's that awareness that Terry talked about. And, and then you get to repeat the tools. And I mean, it's constant learning. And so that's what creates that potential. You get to be that way. You don't have to get all those things first to be a certain way. You just get to be that way. And then you get all the other things along with it. So that's what I'm doing, and that's what I'm taking away from this and moving through and still struggling with. So.
Hi friends, I'm Jill, and I actually looked back to see when I first started with Brandon, and it was actually September of 2018. So one of the exercises, the one, especially when you're looking into the future and looking 5 years and 10 years and 20 years, has always been so impactful for me. But I'm literally looking at almost exactly 5 years from when I probably first did that exercise. And I remember that first time that I did the exercise, I couldn't breathe. And I couldn't breathe because what I saw was something I never wanted to be. I saw somebody that wasn't taking the reins of her own life and deciding I was worth more and that I could do more and I could be better than just staying where I was. And I look back at that Jill 5 years ago, and I am leaps and bounds of where that woman was, because I made the choice to do better, and also know that I wasn't ever supposed to do it on my own, that I would always have somebody by my side to say, hey, you know what? Let's challenge you here. Let's level you up here. Let's challenge these thoughts that you're having so that you can get to that version of yourself that you were created for. So over the past 5 years, I think I've had a little bit of everything that Brandon has offered, whether it was one-on-one or small group or large group or in person or virtual events. And I would always come back because I knew every time I invested in whatever it was that Brandon was doing, I was going to level up, because I know what that exercise would tell me with, if I didn't do anything, where would I be in 5 years? And now I can look back and say, my goodness, 5 years ago, I am so glad that I made the investment in myself to say, I will always have a coach by my side. I will always have something that is pushing me and helping me move forward, because I never want to sit there and say, you know what, I'm moving backwards, or I'm not stepping into my full potential, because I can see there's that visual of what is possible. So I know that you all just went through that exercise. Like, what you see is possible and it's there, but you have to make the decision to do the things in order to get you there. And as you are on that journey, you're not alone, and you're also learning how to help others who are just a few steps behind you. Like, success leaves footprints. And one of the big things I've always learned was that if I saw somebody who was having success, let me ask them, what do they do? Every single person that had success in the way that I wanted it had a coach on board. And if somebody said they didn't have a coach, I got to the point of saying, I'm not taking advice from you because you're trying to do it all on your own. And so when I realized that, I said, I will always have a coach by my side, because then I'm able to always be leveling up. And as I'm walking through this, I can also help other people. So at this point, you know, my team has continued to grow and thrive. And it's not because of me, it's because I'm just open with the lessons that I'm learning for them to say, well, if Jill can do it and other people can do it, then I can too. So my most valuable lessons when it comes to coaching is, you know, wherever you are now, that's great. But if you're ready to level up, you're going to need somebody by your side. And don't think for a minute that you can do this all by yourself, or that you were created to do it by yourself. Do the things, say yes, have the opportunity to invite a coach in and say, I want that vision of my 5, 10, 20-year self to actually come to fruition. The one that says, I'm going to do everything it takes in order to live that out, because that's what you're worth. That's just the glimpse of what is to come in the better, right? And that's where you want to be. That's all I got.
Guys, what are some of the, I mean, Jill mentions, hey, a coach. We obviously want people to come work with us so we can help them further. We want them to come work with us in a more intimate way. Groups fantastic, and we have lots of groups, but we're going to be asking people, some people will elect to do this, to come join us in a one-on-one setting, in working with us one-on-one, individually, like face-to-face. Can you guys maybe elaborate a little bit more on what that looked like and how you've grown as a result of working with a coach individually? Like, what does that, what are some breakthroughs that you've had, or some things that have happened as a result of having the one-on-one interaction?
Okay, so Brandon, you and I have done quite a bit of one-on-one, and I think it was the breakthroughs that I've had working one-on-one with you, I more than likely would not have had in a group setting. It's it was the opportunity to be incredibly vulnerable, and feeling so safe with you that I think I've shared things with you that I have more than likely never shared with anyone before. Like even when I was married, my former husband had no idea that, I had all these secrets. And what did you say today about the secrets? Secrets that you keep mess with your self-esteem. And I would have never, ever felt comfortable in a group environment sharing those secrets. I really think I felt that because of those secrets, I deemed myself unlovable. And when you get into that space and you start to open that up and you look at the wounds and the hurt, and then you start to have that shift, how did it serve me? How do I interact with others because of this? It's been very transformational for me, Brandon. I'm just going to encourage everybody to spend time with you one-on-one, because what I know for sure, sound like Oprah, what I know for sure is that every single one of us harbors secrets, and you are a safe place. And when we release those secrets, I'm going to tell you, freedom. It's freedom. And it affects everything. Well, how we do anything is how we do everything. And so everything benefits, everything grows, everything becomes lovable.
I will say, oh, go ahead, Candace, you're fine.
I have one-on-one coaching yet, but I do plan to with Brandon. And thank you for sharing that, Terry. But I can share with everyone, I did an incredibly helpful one-on-one coaching years ago, maybe 6 years ago. And there was one thing, and I shared that with some lovely people I was on a breakout group with, that, sometimes one phrase helps us change our lives. And over the phone, was doing a phone coaching in between live group sessions, but the phone was on one-on-one. And I was having all this problem, which I've had for years, of not asking for help. Like, I don't want to be vulnerable as a woman doctor, especially in my training. You don't ask for help because you're just going to get dumped on. But that's just not a great way to live a great life, right? And he just said this word, 4 words: leaders ask for help. He said, Candace, leaders ask for help. It was light bulb went off. I never thought of that. I never knew that. And of course, leaders ask for help so they can clear up obstacles that are stopping them from helping others. So that's just a great example of that one-on-one where you can really share vulnerably and sometimes have this insight that just really helps you take of your life. So leaders ask for help. I'm still working on that. And sometimes it just comes to my head. Leaders ask for help, then I can make that phone call that I just didn't really want to make. So thanks for letting me share that.
Yeah, that is, you hit the nail on the head, Candace. That leaders ask for help. That's a big struggle for a lot of people because we want to do the lone wolf thing. I will tell you, one-on-one with Brandon allows for challenge to happen. And that's hard sometimes because we have this protective mechanism. It's hard for us to harm our bodies. It's hard for us to sit in the pain and the displeasure of things. And just like teaching people to give themselves a shot, that's a big thing to overcome. And so being able to be in a space where you can be challenged to start feeling emotionally through some of the stuff and moving through that in a safe environment and in a challenging environment, in an environment where you get accountability, that is transformational. Just like Terry said, it is. It definitely, I've been challenged and it's a big thing. It's a big deal. And, because I have this persona that comes forward that is, I got to present myself as good and perfect and have it all together. And I know it all. And not that I know it all, but just, I'm going to speak correctly and say all the right things. And um, I've been okay with messing things up lately, I guess you could say, and not in a bad way, but and so and just being vulnerable and letting that be present and being present, So by working with Brandon, these are big deals. Whenever you want to approach somebody about your business or about your product, these big things that we go through bring that out and bring that opportunity forward. It's just neat how it all interplays in your day-to-day life. So
I don't know about y'all, but sometimes I just prefer to hide and put somebody else in the spotlight. And so a lot of times in group, I'll be like, well, I don't want to take the time. And so like somebody else's issue or whatever is more important. So let me step back so somebody else can work through what they need. But when you have one-on-one coaching, there is no hiding. Like there's no like stepping back. It is, okay, let's call this out of you. And what I realized a lot in that one-to-one is like, I'm not broken. It's not that I'm broken and can't move on from here. It's, hey, let's pull out what you think is broken and actually find out it's probably a strength. And how do we utilize that to move forward? But really the one-on-one piece has allowed me to step out of that default of wanting to hide and saying, no, I am worth it. Like I am worth talking to somebody that can help me and to help level up. And just that accountability piece, right? If I've got a call that's one-on-one, I can't just not go. Like somebody's going to be looking for me and be like, hey, we had this on the schedule. What happened?
Yeah. Any other, you guys, I could talk to you all day, but I'm wondering, is there any other like massive benefits you guys have got from that you've seen that you could share with everybody that you've seen as a result of digging in and coaching at a deeper level? Is there any like hard fact? Like I see you all differently, obviously, than when I first met you, but I'm wondering if there's anything you could share with these guys that are like, hey, these are the actual results you can physically touch and see and feel as a result of taking coaching on at a deeper level.
Well, Brandon, I would say for me, calmness, and that's really a prize, a calm centeredness where, in the past I may have been flustered or angry or not sure. I remember I used to have a state of confusion in my life, and I don't feel that anymore. I don't feel that I'm confused anymore. And so I think it does help people gravitate to feel comfortable, with us as a leader. But we're also, I think coaching is indispensable to help others, to help coach others. That's a skill that I've got a long way to go with. And but I think just the absence of anger and the presence of calmness and love, that's, to me, that's everything. And it allows us to be that person who makes a good difference wherever we are. So that's what I'm seeing.
For me, Brandon, I don't take myself so seriously anymore. I've been a pretty serious girl for a long time, so I don't take myself so seriously. And I'm a lot more playful. I am a lot more playful. And I don't know, I'm dangerous. I might be dangerous right now. I'm having, there's a lot of moving parts going on right now in my life, fires in Oregon and evacuation, all sorts of things. But I can still see the beauty in every single day. And I'm just so grateful. So thank you.
I think that I see or I feel what I can say is more tangible is I feel more authentic. Whenever I talk to people about my business, the product, it's just an extension of a conversation. It's not something that I'm having to force or come through or come to the table unnaturally, if that makes sense. Like I very much like what Candace said, it's just I'm more centered. I have just this understanding that by knowing who I am, by having the intrinsic validation tool, I notice, that's such a key tool to use in conversation with people. And that has been where my product and my business has started to grow specifically is and just validating people in their struggle and becoming a detective and looking, inwardly instead of just throwing out some information about something. So that is really that's been a key turning point in my business. So.
Amy, in the ELP, do you get some practice there with other people?
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. We get to bring a lot of our specific stories there. We meet weekly, which really helps put accountability on the table. We get to help coach each other, which we bring out to our teams as well, which is we get to utilize the skills and it's just an incredible thing to invest in. And that ELP program, we bring our struggles and we bring it weekly, and we get to talk specifically about what's going on in there, and it's just a neat environment to be a part of that for sure.
Thank you. Jill, you've been part of a lot of different programs. I know in the past you've invested in things. You recently invested in something a while back with somebody and have some insight there. I don't want to really have you share that here, but a lot of people that will be exposed to a lot of different programs and things that are out there. What have you seen? I mean, 2018, you've done stuff with us and then in and out with different things. Is there any tangible, like this is what, by working in maybe even in the ELP, what it's created for you in the environment that you create? I know you have a lot of your team here that could definitely echo a lot of what's happened as a result of you going through some of the stuff you've gone through, and you guys can all put your thumbs up if you're out there. But Jill, share a little bit about what has that done for you?
Well, I echo everything that they said, because there's something transformative that truly happens, and you do learn to work from a place of peace and joy and work in intention. I have the opportunity to tell my team, like, I have the most white space in my calendar now, and white space just means it's that free time that I get to choose how I want to use it. And being able to show up in intention and to grow from that place of peace and know, no, what I'm doing and the way and the direction that we're in is right. We've got the systems in place. We've got the leadership in place. We know what to do. It has resulted in, I mean, just be very blunt, it's resulted in higher commissions, a larger team, bigger numbers. Our retention rate is higher. And, I always have said there's always a different coaching and training for a different season, but that's the best part of also what Brandon has always offered. Like when I look back and I say there's times that I needed one-on-one, there's times that I need, and right now I need ELP, there's times that I needed virtual events. And I've also worked with different training programs and different coaches, but it's very telling that Brandon's the one that I keep coming back to, because every time I attend something with Brandon, that's where the level up happens from. And I can't say that for certain about other things that I have invested in. Doesn't mean anything else is bad. It's just, I see that momentum happen after I do something with Brandon, because it's not just, hey, go do these tasks and then you're going to see these results. It's, let's figure out what you truly need to change, to level up, or to explore, to walk in that strength. And I think that that's important to understand, is that it's not just going into a coaching where here's the checkoff list and you're going to come out and say, this is what I do. It's truly a transformation of who you are and an opening of who you were really created to be. I feel the strongest as a person and as a leader than I've ever felt in, nearly 10 years of network marketing.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. And yes, I see your team clapping for you out there. There. Yes. Yes. Anything else you guys would like to share? Anything at all? Any final words that you guys would like to share? such awesome to be with you guys, and that you've given me permission to work with you and help you. But anything else you guys would like to share? Any final words?
Can I just say, don't be afraid to sit at a table that seems a level up from you. Like when I said yes to ELP, I was scared out of my mind just because of the straw stories that I had worked up in my head as far as what that would be. But you can't level up and you can't grow unless you surround yourselves with people who are choosing to level up. You're going to find that everybody comes to the table in a different strength, and you're going to bring your strength as well. So if you're kind of sitting here being like, I don't really know what my next step is, whatever that next step is, make sure you get to surround yourself in some way, shape, or form of people that are leveled up.
Yeah.
I second
guys-
that.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Amy.
I was going to say, it makes a big difference on who you surround yourself with. And this is an incredible opportunity to be in that momentum and to give yourself that push, that drive, that to get you out of your comfort zone and really find your leverage and move forward through this. Like this is life-changing, and it's not something that you can just do in a 3-day event. It's something that needs to be followed through and followed on for, I mean, you know, we're always the student, always the learner. I took the words from Terry. That's her line. Go ahead, Terry.
No, you said it. You know, we're always a student. It doesn't matter what level you've achieved in anybody's marketing plan. You know, we are always the student. There's always more to learn. There's always more growth to be had. You know, if you want to live that life of possibility, you always have to put yourself in a growing situation. And I love that.
Yeah. And I just think, you know, that this kind of work is the kind that will allow our civilization to go on longer. It's at that level where bad things are happening because people are operating out of their wounded selves with no real ability to rise above and see a bigger picture, and much ego. And I that we can be, you know, our best selves, not about how much do I produce, but maybe how much love I can help others produce around me, how much love we can produce. But it really is at that stage in our, we're at that stage where it's love of each other and the living things is the thing that's going to save us. That's my belief.
Wow.